Let me tell you something straight up. The worst part about fucking Lyme disease was those damn die-offs. But those die-offs are necessary. They are the only way you can get well. And it's not just that. Then you got to work on your lymphatic system, which is your body's detoxification system. It is a constant battle every second of the fucking day. But I'm sitting here over 10 years later, and I am as healthy as I have ever been. Definitely healthier than I was before Lyme disease, which I thought I was healthy then. I healed my thyroid. I got off of a very high dose of thyroid medication for my hypothyroidism because the culprit to everything, guys, was Lyme disease. It fucked up my gut. When your gut's out of whack, your immune system shit, most of your neurotransmitters are produced in your gut. I had leaky gut, gut dysbiosis, candida overgrowth, heavy metal toxicity, anemia, hypothyroidism, and Lyme disease. But I didn't give up. Hi everyone, Janna here. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know if you knew this or not, but May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. It is also Mental Disease Awareness Month. And if you've been listening or you read my book, Unfuck Your Mind, you know that I overcame chronic Lyme disease over 10 years ago. And it's very, very important to me to always share my journey and to talk about it and answer all the questions that I get asked. And so I want to thank each and every one of you who ask me questions, who give me love on my shows or on social media. And I appreciate you. And I have a big ask of you. If you enjoy my show, if you enjoy my show so much that you subscribed and that you are an avid listener, I want to ask you to share my show with all of those that you love or anyone you come across who struggles with Lyme disease or mental disease or their gut health or just any autoimmune disease, or they just feel stuck. And the reason I ask that is because the reason I do what I do is to help as many people as I can. I made a promise when I was so sick with chronic Lyme disease, the day I almost took my life. That was the day at rock bottom that I decided to say, fuck Lyme. I believe I can get well, and that's what I'm going to choose. And I told myself and I told God that if I'm meant to go through this in order to help one other person get well, send me through it. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was a mindset shift that I had. And when I had that, my actions began to follow my thoughts. And now it wasn't as easy as just saying it. It was that I truly believed it. And guys, you got to know, if you've read my book, then you do. You have got to know how fucking hard it was. Not just every day, but every second, every millisecond of every day, to not give in to the horrifying, hellacious symptoms that I endured 24/7. I never had one break of reprieve. I never had a moment of clarity or a moment of like, oh, this is what it's like to feel normal. It wasn't just some bad days. It was absolute hell. In fact, I did not know that anything could make someone feel the way that Lyme disease did neurologically. You know, Lyme disease for some people, it gets their muscles or joints and they have a lot of severe pain. You know, they get in a wheelchair. And for me, it was in my brain. And I had derealization so fucking bad. I felt crazy. And if you don't know what derealization is, it is exactly what it sounds like. I didn't feel like I was even really there. I didn't feel alive. I didn't feel like I had any ability to remember or think, or it was just weird. It was like I was watching someone else's life go by, and I felt confused and disoriented and just I felt so out of it. It was the most disgusting feeling in my body, and I it was the last symptom to slowly go away. But I want to tell you what derealization is. Derealization is actually the most intense form of brain fog. Let me tell you what brain fog is. Brain fog is inflammation of your brain. I didn't know that for a long, long time when I was sick. In fact, it was at the end as I was like halfway into my healing that when I was studying so much, trying to learn everything I could, um, that I learned what it was. And when I learned it, that really helped me because if you've never felt severe brain fog or if you've never experienced panic attacks or anxiety attacks, first of all, God bless you. But there's no way to describe how uncomfortable and scary it is. And so when you add the derealization on top of it, and then you try to explain it to someone who is healthy, they look at you like you're crazy. And that's what it's like living with an invisible disease. For those of you watching me right now, you look at me right now and I look totally healthy, which I am. But let's just take it back to 11, 12 years ago when I was so sick. I didn't even want to live. I looked totally normal on the outside. And so when you look normal and you're telling people how you feel and their mental symptoms, their neurological things, wow, did they not give you the most judgmental comments and looks? And they just kind of walk away. And so today I don't have a specific, you know, this part of Lyme I'm going to talk about. I really, really just want to just talk about Lyme disease. Um, and I'll get more specific in some future episodes. This one's just specifically just about Lyme disease. Um, and if you have anything specific you really want me to discuss, please comment, send me a DM on social media, email me, and I will do my very best to cover it. Um, and if you don't follow me on social media, Instagram is really where I share the most. And I'm trying to get better at every platform, but Instagram is definitely where I'm the most active, and I'll see things. And thank you for that, for following me. So when you live with an invisible disease, it is the most loneliest, scariest feeling ever. And I just got to where it made me feel worse when someone would ask me, how are you? How do you feel? Well, at first I thought they actually gave a shit. So I would answer, and I didn't go into super great detail, but I would just say, man, that having severe anxiety attacks and depression and like just feel like I'm just like out of it. And they just kind of look at you and just kind of slowly walk away. And I realized that they don't really give a shit. These people are asking because it's the only thing they know to ask me. When they saw Janna, when I was sick with Lyme disease and people saw me, they saw Lyme disease. That's all they talked to me about. And for a brief moment, and as soon as I actually shared something that was answering the question they asked, they just didn't know what to say and they walked away. And I'm not kidding. You really find out who your close friends are um, when you're sick. I mean, I had no one, and um, and that sucked. It really, really sucked. Um, I had one of my aunts, Aunt Jill, if you're listening. She was the only person who I would sometimes confide in. She's the only person I felt comfortable really talking to in depth about my symptoms, and so I gotta not leave her out on that and give her some credit. Um, but since then, the family I'm really close with, they understand and they know, and so they understand why I'm saying that. But I really didn't have anybody. My aunt didn't live nearby. My husband at the time was not supportive and didn't understand it, and I felt powerless. I felt useless. I felt disposable. Um, I felt like I was just fucked. And I was angry. I was angry at the sickness. I was angry at why. I was angry that I could no longer be the mom I was to my two toddlers. I was mad. I was so fucking mad. And then everything I read or heard on Lyme disease was so depressing and negative. And you just get into this deep, dark hole. And it's really fucking hard to get out of it. Imagine if you were dropped in a 200-foot hole and there's multiple ways out, but you don't know. You can't see it. There's no light. And you don't even know which way to walk. You hit a few walls. You don't know where to go. You don't even know what direction. But the thing is that sometimes people just give up and they stay stuck because they're scared. What if I fall? What if this? What if that? And you know what, guys? You just gotta go. You gotta climb out. You gotta walk out. You can't stay stuck. And the key to unlocking that, the key to getting well is your mindset. And it might not be what you want to hear, and I understand that, but it's the damn truth. That moment, that moment that I almost took my own life, I got down on my knees and and I said, God, if you're sending me through this to help one more person, send me through it. And I'll do my damnedest to get well and not give up. And I got up and I went and I looked in the mirror, which is really hard for me to do because I had severe body dysmorphia. And I said, fuck Lyme. Fuck you. I am so tired of it. You took over the wrong body and it's time to get the fuck out. And let me tell you something. It was only, maybe it was a year or so after that I realized how pivotal that moment was, because when I chose to believe I could get well, and let me tell you something, no doctor, no, no science, no data, no nothing told me I would get well. It was the opposite. I felt pretty certain I would never get well. And that's all I read. That's all I heard. That's all I was told. But that just wasn't good enough for me. And you know what? My two kids at the time, I have three now, those toddlers, those little kids, they deserved more than that. And I believe that God can do all things that are impossible. And where the fuck am I getting believing in the naysayers and the negativity, in the life sentence, in the fate of Lyme disease? Where the fuck had that been getting me? Nowhere except literally seconds away from taking my own life. So I want you to think about that if you're questioning the logic or the, oh, really, you just changed how you thought. Nah, I didn't just say it. I fucking believed it because it's all I had to hold on to. And every second of every day, I had to fight, fight, fight. Because when I begin to kill the bacteria with essential oils, which I have an article on my website, I had read and studied about the die-offs, and I had read, man, they are 10 times worse than the symptoms you already feel. And let me tell you something. There was nothing that could have strapped me in tight enough for the fucking hell of a ride I was on those die-off symptoms. It was hell. But you know what? After my first die-off, which lasted about a week, I felt better than I did before. And that was the first time I had ever, ever felt any better. And so I kept doing that, kept doing what I was doing. And then I learned how to use food as medicine. I learned that sugar feeds all diseases, not just candy and sweets and all that, but high sugar fruits, anything that turns into glucose in your body. The bacteria need it to live. Well, I'm not going to feed them anymore. I starved them out. I gave my body what I needed to live. I worked on healing my gut and I starved that fucking disease out. And you know what? The worst part about that disease, I always thought were the symptoms of the disease. Let me tell you something straight up. The worst part about fucking Lyme disease was those damn die-offs. But those die-offs are necessary. They are the only way you can get well. And it's not just that. Then you got to work on your lymphatic system, which is your body's detoxification system. It is a constant battle every second of the fucking day. But I'm sitting here over 10 years later, and I am as healthy as I have ever been. Definitely healthier than I was before Lyme disease, which I thought I was healthy then. I healed my thyroid. I got off of a very high dose of thyroid medication for my hypothyroidism because the culprit to everything, guys, was Lyme disease. It fucked up my gut. When your gut's out of whack, your immune system shit, most of your neurotransmitters are produced in your gut. I had leaky gut, gut dysbiosis, candida overgrowth, heavy metal toxicity, anemia, hypothyroidism, and Lyme disease. But I didn't give up. And when I got rid of Lyme disease, I was able to truly finish healing my gut. And then I was able to heal my thyroid. So you don't have to believe everything. Sometimes you got to believe in the unknown. Sometimes you got to walk towards the door you can't see, because if not, you're going to stay stuck. Maybe you fall down further. I healed myself 100%. I did what I was told was impossible. And you can too. You also can get well. You have an inner warrior inside of you, and all you got to do is just tell that inner warrior you're ready. You're ready to fight. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hell. Some days I felt like I was getting worse or moving backwards. Sometimes weeks at a time, I felt stuck and I didn't have improvements, but I kept on believing because I had no other way to go except back into fucking hell. Sometimes you just got to believe in the unknown and you got to ignore the negativity. And so I always hope to be a beacon of inspiration and hope and motivation to any of you who are suffering from illness of any kind. Please share this episode with anyone who is struggling with mental health or Lyme disease or any autoimmune disease or illness. Don't give up. The moment that you choose to believe there's no cure, there's no way you can get well, you're stuck, this is your life sentence, this is it, then you stay stuck because you've decided this is my life. And so you no longer do anything at all to move forward. Your actions follow your thoughts. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great day.